Most people shopping for a compact SUV are asking the wrong question. They're asking which one looks best, which one has the nicest interior, and which one gets the best gas mileage. But the question that actually matters, the question that separates a smart buyer from someone who's going to be writing a big check in 5 years, is this: which compact SUVs are actually built to reach 200,000 miles without turning into a financial nightmare? Because here's the thing, most people don't realize. The majority of compact SUVs don't fail because the engine suddenly dies on the highway. They fail because somewhere around 90,000 or 120,000 miles, the repair bills start stacking up faster than the vehicle is worth. A transmission here, a timing chain there, an AWD transfer case that costs more to fix than 3 months of car payments. That's how most SUVs end the relationship. Not with a bang, with a bill. So here's what's happening right now. 12 of the most popular compact SUVs on the road are entering this challenge. Only 3 survive. We're cutting them round by round based on long-term ownership data, real repair costs, high mileage track records, and the kind of information dealers don't put on the window sticker. Some of the vehicles you're about to see eliminated are ones you probably own, have owned, or were seriously considering. Pay attention to when your SUV gets called. Round 1. These are the vehicles that can't make it to the semifinals. Not because they're bad cars, but because the 200,000-mile question exposes weaknesses that good, short-term ownership completely hides. The Ford Escape is first on the chopping block, and if you own one, here's what the dealership didn't tell you. The 1.5-liter EcoBoost engine, the one in millions of Escapes, has a documented coolant intrusion problem that can turn routine maintenance into a major engine repair. Ford extended warranties on specific model years because of it. And when a manufacturer extends a warranty, that's not generosity. That's an acknowledgement that enough engines failed that they had no legal choice. The Escape competes well through the first 60,000 to 80,000 miles. After that, you're gambling. In a challenge where only 3 vehicles reach 200,000 miles, gambling isn't good enough. The Ford Escape is eliminated. Next out is the Chevrolet Equinox. And this one surprises people, because Equinox owners in the early years tend to be pretty satisfied. The price is right. The comfort is solid. The problems don't announce themselves immediately. They arrive quietly, around 100,000 miles, in the form of timing chain issues on the 2.4-liter engine, oil consumption that keeps climbing, and transmission behavior that shifts from mildly annoying to genuinely alarming. The back half of Equinox ownership is a different experience from the front half. In this challenge, you need a vehicle that gets stronger with age, not one that starts showing cracks right when you need it most. The Chevrolet Equinox is eliminated. The Jeep Cherokee has personality, no question, but some of that personality is concentrated in its 9-speed automatic transmission, one of the most complained about components in this entire class. Shuddering, hesitation, hunting between gears. Fiat Chrysler pushed software update after software update, trying to fix it, and while later model years improved, the Cherokee's long-term transmission reputation never fully recovered. Here's the reality. A great engine paired with an unreliable transmission is still an unreliable vehicle. The Cherokee's powertrain options are decent. The transmission is the problem, and a transmission you can't trust at 150,000 miles is a deal-breaker in a 200,000-mile challenge. The Jeep Cherokee is eliminated. The Volkswagen Tiguan is one of the more seductive vehicles in this class. The interior quality punches well above its price. The third-row option is genuinely useful, and German engineering carries a psychological premium that moves a lot of metal. But here's a misconception that costs buyers thousands of dollars. German engineering and German reliability are not the same thing. The Tiguan has a documented history of DSG transmission issues, water pump failures, and timing chain tensioner problems. And when a Volkswagen needs major work, the parts and labor costs remind you exactly what you're driving. Some Tiguan owners do reach high mileage, but it usually requires premium maintenance and a willingness to absorb expensive repairs along the way. That's not a 200,000-mile champion. That's a 200,000-mile survivor story. The Volkswagen Tiguan is eliminated. The Nissan Rogue is one of the best-selling SUVs in America, and for the right buyer, someone who trades every 5 or 6 years, keeps mileage moderate, and wants comfort at a reasonable price, it makes sense. But the CVT transmission that Nissan pairs with its 4-cylinder engines has a complicated history that goes beyond bad reputation. Early versions failed at rates high enough that Nissan paid out class action settlements and extended warranties across multiple model years. Newer CVTs have improved, but even the improved units require strict fluid change intervals, don't handle hard use or towing well, and carry enough uncertainty at extreme mileage that the Rogue simply can't compete with the vehicles still alive in this challenge. For a short-term vehicle, reasonable. For 200,000 miles, eliminated. 5 vehicles gone, 7 remain. Think about which ones you're expecting to see survive the next round, and whether those expectations are based on reliability data or on marketing you've absorbed over the years. If this breakdown is saving you time or money, go ahead and like the video and subscribe. Every video on this channel is built around one goal, helping you make a smarter decision before you spend your money, not after. Round 2. The vehicles entering this round are more capable. Some of them will impress you, but impressing you isn't enough. Reaching 200,000 miles without becoming a financial problem, that's the standard. And this round is where the challenge gets harder to predict. The Hyundai Tucson is the first vehicle in round 2, and it represents something real. Hyundai has genuinely improved. The current generation Tucson reflects a decade of serious quality work. Ownership satisfaction in the first 80,000 to 100,000 miles has climbed noticeably. The warranty is among the best in the class. But here's the thing about warranties that most buyers misunderstand. A generous warranty tells you the manufacturer will cover certain repairs. It says nothing about what happens after the warranty expires, and the bills are entirely yours. The Theta 2 engine failures that hit Hyundai hard a few years ago were a serious quality crisis. The brand recovered. Whether the current generation powertrains, particularly the turbocharged variants, hold up at 200,000 miles is something the data will confirm in about 5 years. Promising, but not proven enough to survive this round, the Hyundai Tucson is eliminated. The Kia Sportage travels the same road as the Tucson, and for the same reasons. Kia has made genuine strides in quality. The Sportage is a strong vehicle for the first several years of ownership, but Kia and Hyundai share platforms and powertrains, which means they share the same questions at ultra-high mileage. One of those questions doesn't have a confident answer yet. And in a competition where only 3 vehicles reach the finish line, unanswered questions are a reason to exit. The Kia Sportage is eliminated. Now the Subaru Forester. And this one is going to bother some people, because Subaru owners are among the most loyal in the industry, and that loyalty is not irrational. The Forester's all-wheel drive is excellent. The visibility is genuinely better than almost anything in this class. Many Forester owners reach 200,000 miles, so why doesn't it make the final 3? Because the path to 200,000 miles in a Forester has a specific obstacle that shows up too often to ignore. Head gasket failures in older generations, oil consumption in certain 4-cylinder variants, and a maintenance discipline requirement that's less forgiving than the vehicles still standing. The Forester can reach 200,000 miles, but it asks more of you to get there. And in a challenge this tight, asking more is asking too much. The Subaru Forester is eliminated. 4 vehicles remain. Think carefully about which one you'd cut next. Because the next vehicle to survive is one that a lot of buyers underestimate, and the reason it survives might change how you think about this entire class. The Mazda CX-5 is still alive, and it's earned that position in a way that deserves explaining. Mazda's Skyactiv engine architecture is one of the most thoughtfully engineered powertrains in this price range. No turbocharger forcing extra stress onto seals, gaskets, and cooling systems. A naturally aspirated engine that responds well to basic maintenance and doesn't punish you for anything less than perfection. Mazda's unscheduled repair rates are consistently among the lowest in the class. The ownership experience through 150,000 miles and beyond is genuinely impressive. The concern that almost knocked the CX-5 out of this round. Parts costs slightly higher than Toyota and Honda equivalents, a smaller dealer network, is real but not decisive. At extreme mileage, the CX-5's mechanical foundation is strong enough to outlast most of the vehicles that were just eliminated. The Mazda CX-5 advances to the final round. 3 vehicles remain. 3 compact SUVs that have survived every elimination, answered every question the challenge has thrown at them, and earned the right to compete for the title of most likely to reach 200,000 miles. Before the final reveal, which vehicle did you predict would still be standing? Drop it in the comments right now. A lot of people had opinions at the start of this video. Some of you are about to find out you were right. Some of you are about to be surprised. The final round. The first finalist stepping into the championship is the Honda CR-V. And if you know Honda's reliability track record over the past 3 decades, this doesn't shock you. But what might surprise you is how close the CR-V came to being a much weaker competitor in this challenge, because the shift from the old 2.4-liter naturally aspirated engine to the newer 1.5-liter turbo raised legitimate concerns. Specifically, oil dilution. Gasoline mixing with engine oil in cold climates during short trips was documented and real. Honda addressed it through software updates and a recommendation to use full synthetic oil. But here's the thing. The older 2.4-liter engine the turbo replaced was one of the most indestructible 4-cylinders ever put in a mass-market vehicle. Simple, durable, forgiveness of imperfect maintenance. Millions of those engines are still running with enormous mileage because the architecture was fundamentally sound. The newer turbocharged CR-V recovered from its early concerns, and the overall ownership picture: low, unscheduled repair rates, massive parts availability, strong resale value, a transmission that outperforms Nissan's CVT at high mileage, puts the CR-V exactly where it belongs. In the final 3. The second finalist is the Toyota RAV4, and the RAV4's path to 200,000 miles isn't dramatic. It doesn't need to be. The 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine in the standard RAV4 is one of the most thoroughly proven powertrains in the automotive industry. It doesn't make headlines for horsepower. It makes headlines for outlasting everything around it. Toyota has decades of real-world evidence showing this engine architecture performs reliably at extreme mileage with nothing more than basic maintenance. But here's the insight that catches most buyers off guard. The RAV4 Hybrid has actually shown stronger long-term reliability indicators than the standard gasoline version. The hybrid system adds regenerative braking, which reduces wear on brake components. The electric motor assists the combustion engine, which means the gasoline engine works less hard across its entire lifespan. And the hybrid battery, the thing everyone worries about immediately, has proven far more durable than public perception suggests. RAV4 hybrid owners regularly report 200,000 miles with the original battery still functioning normally. That's not a marketing claim. That's ownership data. The Toyota RAV4 earns its place in the final 3. The third and final spot belongs to the Mazda CX-5. Already confirmed, already standing. The CX-5 is in the championship because its Sky-active engine is mechanically clean. Its ownership costs stay manageable through high mileage, and its reputation at 150,000 plus miles reflects an engineering philosophy that prioritizes durability over complexity. Mazda builds vehicles the way a watchmaker builds watches: precise, intentional, without unnecessary moving parts. That philosophy shows up in the long-term reliability data. The CX-5 didn't survive this challenge by accident. It survived because the mechanical case for it holds up under scrutiny. Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, Mazda CX-5, 3 vehicles, 1 question left. Which one would I trust most? The Toyota RAV4, and if budget allows, the RAV4 Hybrid. Here's the reasoning. The RAV4's naturally aspirated engine removes the turbocharger entirely as a long-term variable. Turbocharged engines can reach high mileage, but they introduce components: turbos, intercoolers, wastegates, boost pressure on aging seals, and gaskets that a naturally aspirated engine never has to deal with. The RAV4 Hybrid takes that mechanical simplicity and layers on a powertrain dynamic where the combustion engine genuinely works less hard because the electric motor assistance absorbs part of the load across hundreds of thousands of miles. Add the largest and most accessible parts ecosystem in the class, dealer support in virtually every city, and resale value that protects you even if you decide to sell at 150,000 miles rather than push to 200,000. And the RAV4 is the answer the data keeps pointing to, from multiple directions over multiple decades. The CR-V is an excellent choice, especially the older, naturally aspirated versions, and for buyers who want a lower entry price or a slightly more car-like driving experience, it's a completely defensible decision. The CX-5 rewards buyers who value driving engagement and are committed to the maintenance schedule. Both belong in the conversation. But the real lesson from this entire challenge isn't which three survived. It's why the others didn't. The SUVs that got eliminated weren't bad vehicles. Most of them are genuinely good options for the right buyer in the right situation. They were eliminated because the 200,000-mile question is a harder question than most people ask when they're standing in a dealership. It's not a question about how the vehicle feels on a test drive. It's a question about what happens when the warranty ends, when the miles stack up, and when the repair bill arrives, and you have to decide alone whether to fix it or walk away. The three vehicles that survived this challenge answer that question most consistently, in ownership data, in high-mileage communities, and in the real-world experience of people who actually got there. So here's what I want from you. Which compact SUV would you trust to reach 200,000 miles? Drop it in the comments, and if you already own one of these three at high mileage, tell us your number. Those comments matter to people making this decision right now. If you're buying a vehicle in the next year or two, consider subscribing. Every video on this channel is designed to give you the kind of information that changes what you ask for at a dealership, before you spend your money, not 3 years after.